Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome along to the SRF Weekend Warriors, presented by RaceVoices. This week for round 11, the championship takes us from South America last week to North America this week. We're just inland from the famous Daytona beach, which has seen many land speed record attempts over the years, but the 3.5-mile road circuit here inside the oval, well, this is a place that has seen some great racing over the years in the Americas. And of course, the first meeting here, well, it was a sports car race, of course it was. I know these are a bit more of a baby sports car. Your entry level into them is the Ford Spec Racer, but by golly, does it not disappoint on action. I'm Tim Cox, and as always, I'm joined by Jonathan Grabowski. He's not only running the cameras, but providing his knowledge and insight in commentary as well. Now, last week, of course, Aramont Non made it 2 wins on the trot after going a free race barren spell without a win. It was good to see him return to the top once again. And this week, Jonathan, you've been celebrating Thanksgiving over in America, and I'm sure you've had some pumpkin pie, but tonight I can feel it in my bones that we're going to have a nice big fat slice of action and drama pie.
Yes, thank you, Tim. We had a wonderful Thanksgiving here, and it wasn't exactly pumpkin pie. It was, and I'll tell you, we have a family recipe of pumpkin gingerbread trifle. So, loaded up on that over the weekend. So, I think there might be some drivers, especially here in the States, who are, you know, maybe still trying to wear off the turkey and the pudding and and also something exciting that goes on around here in the U.S. And I want to bring up this theme. It's always rivalry week. Now, if you're a fan of college football or even where I'm in Massachusetts, everyone plays their arch rival on Thanksgiving or around there. It's almost like the Merseyside Derby, the Manchester Derby, all happening at the same time, or basically all at once. So I wonder if we're going to see some rivalries today heat up.
Oh, I'm sure we're bound to, because let's just take a little look at the championship as qualifying's just coming to the end, and it looks like Aaron Om's going to be on top, but Antonio Race right behind the Masters drivers. He's on fire tonight. But let's just take a little look at the championship standings before we bring you up the grid. Now, Spec 1, with so many wins so far this season, Aaron Om, surprise, surprise, well, he's on top. This season, he has been almost the Lewis Hamilton of Ford Spec racers. David Bowman, it's looking unlikely that he will catch him. He's in second place. But Marco Panara isn't too far behind the German, so that could be interesting. Naselli now in fourth. He's cut adrift a little bit, so I think the interesting battle is between Bowman and Panero in that fight for second place in the championship. You can see just creeping his way into the top 10 as well there is Yang Ji Lin, who joined us in Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and after returning to the championship, he has been on fire, and you do have to wonder if he had a full season. Likewise with Brandon Roseberry, who was with us for the first half of the season, just what they could have achieved. Heading down to Spec 2, the second of the two categories. We've got Eduardo Dantas. He's leading the way, but Flavio Ndalo isn't far behind after a good run last time out at Interlagos, catching up a fair few points. Benjamin Forster was on for a little bit of a big payday and managed to just about get it creeping inside the top 10 overall. They're closing up that gap, but Ian Gibson, one of the big losers, and Favini as well. Now a bit of what's going to be a dogfight again for that second place in Spec 2. This is looking tough for anyone to catch Dantas out in first. Now heading down to Masters, well, we've been saying it so much this season about Chris Murakami. He has looked unbeatable as the season has gone on in the Masters category. Series organizer Steve Ray, he's in second, and it's a tough battle. Again, it's all about the battles for second place, it's looking like this season, with Jeff Cantor, Tom Gradwell and Antonio Reis incredibly close. Some just over 40 points separating second to fifth, so still all to play for in that one. And Antonio was another driver who could have maybe capitalised and picked up a few points in the last few rounds, but has been a little bit unlucky, of course, crashing out very early on, caught up in the mayhem in the first couple of laps last time out at Interlagos. So that's going to be one really interesting one to see what he can do to recover. As you see, it's down 2 places now. Drivers, they're just on their 5-minute warm-up. They've got a couple of, well, 3.5 minutes to be precise left of that. Now, Antonio Race, he qualified second. We'll bring up the official grid, and I think that is a really interesting one for the Masters Championship.
Yeah, Antonio's also, he's, granted, we always, I think guys automatically assume Masters, guys being a little bit slower, but Antonio Race, a lightning quick driver. We've seen him, in previous seasons really battle, with the top guys, sneaking into that top pack we talk about and break away from the peloton, as we've called it. But we talked about Chris Murakami, who's been unbelievable this season, absolutely unbelievable in that class 10.
Just looking like we do have. I've just spotted his name. I was getting a bit worried we didn't have the American with us, but he is here now. These cars love the draft. You can see there through the oval section on the banking. They're tucked up right behind one another. Jonathan, I think it was a couple of seasons ago, Daytona was the scene of one of probably the best finishes, not just in this within this championship ever, but possibly even with iRacing ever. There was about 3 or 4 wide across the line for first place, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I believe it was. It was a little bit before my time working with the series, but it was hands down one of the greatest, finishes they had seen in the league. Probably the best finish in the league, and we've seen some unbelievably exciting finishes here. So, if really anyone could win this one, usually we get that breakaway group of, 7 guys or so, but with the draft being so strong here and these cars loving it, we could see a new name up there taking the win.
All it takes, I mean, we saw it in Interlagos, where all it took is one incident into the first corner and all hell broke loose and we had cars all over the place. And where we normally have a breakaway group of about, like you were saying earlier, of around about anywhere between 5 and 8 cars breaking away for the lead, we were left with just 2. And it was a bit of a shock to see in some respects because we're so used to it being so tight for so much of the race up front. However, as you've renamed it aptly, and it is so correct, that peloton middle is just uber competitive.
Yeah, really, really uber competitive. And there's a mix of guys, mix of classes, and all these guys are really fast. I mean, if you did a normal race, these guys would be probably the top of your group. So just because they may be in, 10th or 15th doesn't mean they're slow.
So with not long left of warm-up now, it's a good chance to give a big shout out to our sponsors for this series. It's RaceVoice. If you're looking for a simple way to transform complicated performance data into easy to understand voice notifications and alerts, they have over 16 different notifications, including things such as up and down shifts, over rev alerts, corner entry, turn in and exit speeds. It provides immediate feedback on driver and vehicle performance. Now, also, if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening here at Apex Racing TV, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also give us a nice little like as well. But also, you can follow us on Twitter, where we are at Apex Racing TV. Facebook is facebook.com/Apex Racing TV. And Instagram, well, you've guessed it, it's Apex Racing TV, where you can find out more about ourselves. And just waiting for the drivers to take to the grid, and let's take you through the standings of how they're going to be getting away here for round 11 at Daytona. Well, the mighty Estonian Aeronorm, who's looking good for his 4th ever championship victory. He's starting on pole today with Masters driver Antonio Race. Good to see him up on the front row. And it's going to be really interesting to see how he gets along. Then we've got John Payne and Jorg Marni, both starting high up here. And Drelli, the Argentinian, another driver high up as well. He's in 5th on the 3rd row. He's got the Brazilian, a leader in Spec 2 of André Dantas in 6th place. Then it's Pinheiro and Liu with Yang Jilin. He's in 9th with Peter Mirashek, rounding out your top 10 on the 5th row. Then it's Sancinelli and David Baum. David qualifying well down there. They were from the 6th row. Through the field, the 7th row is made up of the German Simon Mayer and Dudu Castro, the American. Then we've got Todd Hansen with Flavia Andalo, with Bartman and Forster. Series leader in Masters, Murakami is 19th with Paolo Brain, rounding out your top 20. Moving down the field, we've got into the next 20s. It's Adam Bradshaw with his fellow Brit Paul Jackson alongside on row 11. It's Santiago and Favini, 2 Spec 1 drivers. They're 23rd and 24th. Then it's Brewster and Gibson, Butenga and Austin Knight, our fellow commentator here at Apex Racing TV. Can be interesting to see how he gets on in the car. I
can't believe Steve let him in the league.
I know, I can't either. I suppose we've got to allow him somewhere to race. It's feel for everyone on that one. Tom Corradell, he's 29th with Joshua Justice, rounding out your top 30. There's Euro Coxon, that seems organiser Stevie Ray for company in 31st and 32nd. Jeff Cantor has Elaine McCain alongside someone who's new to the championship, so interested to see how he gets on this week. Jin has Davidson and an All-American row there in 35th and 36th. Then rounding out your field is Teeny and Dick with Waldbolt and Bertoni rounding out the top 40. And then the last full row is Burkitt and Batley with the Canadian Camilleri rounding out the field. He's in 43rd and got a full lap here at Daytona. And just thinking of action hotspots.
Yeah.
Here, Jonathan. I'm going to predict turn 1 could be interesting, and then, of course, the absolutely iconic bus stop probably being the other one.
I absolutely agree with you. I was thinking this prior to the race. We're going to have to watch the first few laps at the first turn and at the bus stop. I think that's where all the excitement's really going to take place, and the key is going to be surviving those two sections, especially early in the race.
I think an interesting one for me is going to be turn 6. Now, that is the last corner before they come out onto the oval section and then the run down to the bus stop. It's always a tricky place, but also you're going to have everyone desperate to get the best possible exit out of there to try and either defend their position or get on the attack of someone that's in front of them.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been to a lot of tracks here this season, especially, and as I mentioned, I think last week. Kudos to iRacing for putting together this schedule for this season. We've been to some absolutely amazing tracks, and Daytona's not the toughest track in the world, but there is that tough load area, as you mentioned, getting onto the banking, onto the NASCAR banking, the bus stop. You know, you gotta have to take advantage of those opportunities, especially when we get into the inner part of the track.
We've visited a real diverse spectrum. Week 1 started off at Tsukuba. We've then headed to the Nordschleife in round 7, but here we are at Daytona. Get hyped, everyone, because the SRF Weekend Warriors are go. And they're not making a great start there. And Antonio Race is losing out a little bit initially to John Payne. You have to settle for 3rd place there, Antonio Race. He needs to be careful running around the outside there. He's going to come under attack as Murakami has dropped a place, but he won't be too bothered by that one. Everyone just hoping to get through these first corners unscathed as they come down into the international horseshoe. And that's, I think that's part of Brain just slowly up the inside, but Chris Murakami getting a blinding exit there as they're going to head almost 3 wide now and head back to the front. Action up and down the field, and when Aeronautic got a bit of a jump, John Payne, his home race, has come along for the ride, only half a second behind. But Louis, he's right in that peloton. Oh, we have. That's running incredibly slow there.
Oh,
looks
no.
like a bit of a roadblock. So we've got, we've got a few people in the wars here. I think we've had Growell, Cantor, Davidson in the wars, and just trying to get through. We've got a whole host of people in the wars there. We did wonder, is that one of the issues with such a big grid here at the end of, well, not even end lap 1 yet, and into the bus stop they come. They've got someone running a bit wide there. That's John Payne. He must have picked up a slowdown there, Jonathan, surely. Yeah,
Payne must have picked a slowdown. He was really fast to start with, and all of a sudden he just, disappeared for a brief moment.
He's losing place after place after place. But it's all happening out up front. We're going to have 3 wide across the start-finish line between Dorelli, Rice and Jorg Marni. Here we go, everyone, down into turn 1. But there's Dantas just behind. Don't discredit him. He's getting into the mix. It looks like we're going to have 3 sets of 2 wide into turn 1 as Jorg Marni gets to the apex first. And look in the background. Everyone just about squeezing through somehow. And Antonio Race just maintaining that 3rd place. Wow, Jonathan, it's I'm hard on right. Dantas nearly runs into the back of Antonio Race there. Look, in the background, David Baum up to 8th place already is coming along for the fight as they now head through for the next corner into turn 5. 2 wide, 3 wide. We should be shocked. We should be excited by it. But it's another average day here in the Weekend Warriors.
Marco Panero looks desperate to get away from this group. He was blocked for a brief moment. He had this, we could see his face, it was probably this look of get me out of here, please, immediately.
And all while these guys are battling, Aeronom is checking out up front, 2.3 seconds clear, helped by the slowdown that John Payne incurred, which the whole world of pain, excuse the pun, because he's had to drop all the way back from 2nd down to 10th behind Yang Jilin. He's currently in 9th after a good start from him. Best start so far has to go to Petoni, who's in 23rd. He's made up a whopping 17 places already as a Uruguayan. Spectacular start for him.
That is very standard Andreas Bertoni. If you've watched Andreas in this series, he's notorious for doing that.
2 battles going on here. Dantas is under pressure. from Louis, as we've got Bomb versus Yang Jilin in the background there. And look there, that second group is catching up on that first little set of two. And Antonio Race, he's dropped a few places. They've got 3 wide. Dantas, he's in the middle there. David Bomb on the outside. And somehow they managed to get through just about Louis. I think he's caught up. Oh, so he's just behind this, at the back of this little group, and wow, it's hard to know.
A lot's going on, Tim.
I'm
I'm still trying to figure out what happened at the start. So I've been scrolling around through our fantastic software to be like, okay, what's going on? We have all these battles up and down the timing tower. So I'm trying to see. Looks like I want to go back to the beginning. Looks like Flavion Della had an issue at the start, and because we saw Foster slow. And here's Foster gone to the back.
There you go. And that's what started. Wow. Those guys on the inside really got away with that one, because they managed to sell through. Oh no, there's more contact on the outside. And that's what caused that second, like, almost car park when we cut to it in live action.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, what happened, who did what.
It's so hard with such a large field. It's always hard to stay on top of it, and so much action across these 40 minutes. But right now, Panero leading this group from second, that realistically ends pretty much somewhere around. It's hard to tell. It's pretty much all the way down. It probably ends around 10th place with Dudu Castro. But here comes Panero Andrelli. There's Yang Jilin just trying to move through the field. So it's okay start for him. Panero now looming on the bev of the Argentinian. He moves to the outside, utilising that slipstream, but they need to be careful of the Swiss driver Jorgmani in that red car coming from behind. As Drelli looking to take this outside line.
Man's going to go for 2 for 1. Oh, no.
He's got at least one of them though, hasn't he? He's got past Dorelli. He's going to be happy with that one. If they're looking wide back, and maybe not the best line picked by Dorelli there. I mean, it's just like a game of poker here. High stakes, high speed, where they're trying to not show the hand too early of what move they're going to pull, because quite often you can either gain a couple of places or you can lose a couple, Jonathan.
Yeah, and what's absolutely wild is that it's allowed Aeronom to get a 2-second lead. This has allowed him to really break away from everyone for a track that's so drafty as Daytona.
I mean, he complained last week, and I'm sure if we get to speak to him post-race and it continues on like this, how he was bored out front last week at Interlagos, and he relishes the battle, and he's got a feeling he may well be feeling the same. Set the fastest lap of the race so far last time around a 153.4. Closest to him was Marco Panero with a 53.5. There's only two other drivers in the 53, being Marni and Dorelli, who sit in 3rd and 4th respectively right now. See Murakami at the back of this group, who's got John Payne, who feel for him. That slowdown that caught him out so badly. He's back. He's down to 12th now. He did fall into 10th, and he's lost a couple of places to Castro and Mirashek, but he's now set right behind them. But Simon Mayer is just looming in the background a little bit. I get a feeling he's going to be up in with this group. As we see, Payne trying to favour that wider line, trying to carry some sort of speed and momentum around it. I wasn't sure it was going to work, but it somehow has. And Murakami's got the big sweep on all of them. Dantas is on the inside. Payne in the middle, but Murakami having a 2-for-1 meal deal there and beating them all. But look, Payne coming around the outside, trying to try and squeeze it through. What can Dantas do? Can he slip it up the inside of Payne? The answer to that is no, because Payne's going to have the inside line now into the International Horseshoe.
Yeah, Payne's going to have the advantage here, and he's going to get right up on Murakami. Really tough luck for Payne. He's been really fast in qualifying the past few races. We just haven't seen it in the races.
And you see, sorry, I called that as being Dantas. Bit of touching there. It's, I think that was Dudu Castro, wasn't it? I apologize, I think I called him Dantas there, because they've got very similar liveries, those two. And you see this, wow, a bit of a lock-up there from Murakami, starting to feel the pressure from Payne.
And that's allowed the rest of this group to kind of catch up to them, Tim. You know, Mayer's starting to get in there, you know, Mizarek as well. You know, this has allowed that group to kind of play catch up, and it's going to get really, really fun as when we get into the banking.
Well, and equally, the interesting point is they are falling off the group in front of them, which has got Dantas at the back of them, and then makes it pretty much all the way up to near as damn it, second place. Marco Pinero in that position right now. We look back from Antonio Reis, Portuguese driver. He's got David Baum. He's already up 6 places, looking up to make more. Yang Jilin giving him the bump draft round the banking there. That is how close Yang Jilin is. Practically almost inside the German there. Oh, David Baum going to the inside, trying to find a way past Antonio Reis.
This is going to get good.
Oh, breathe in, everyone. Hold tight. Cross your fingers and everything.
What a move.
Wow. Picked up a couple of places there, and spectacular from him, and trying to help. He also clocked the fastest lap of the race so far. The first driver to get into the 152s. 52.96. Also then equaled by Yang Jilin as well. Exactly the same lap time from those two protagonists we're used to seeing at the front. It's so close, and it's hard to know to look. With 5 laps completed, let's just run you through your top 10 right now. You've got Norm from Pinero, Marnie in that last podium position for now. Dorelli is 4th, David Baum 5th, Antonio Reis, Lee, Yang Jilin and Dantas, and then John Payne rounding out your top 10. Murakami's just dropped a couple places. He's down to 11, but he is up 8 places. Biggest gainer so far, hands down, nobody near him. It's Andreas Bertoni, up 23 places. The closest person to him is Marcus Burkett. He's down in 31st. He's up 10 places, but the Uruguayan, Bertoni, spectacular from him. Let's just see. Paul Jackson now. He's got Stevie Ray in front of him with our fellow commentator at Apex, Austin Knight.
You're going to mention his name, Tim. You had to. You had to.
We had to. It's the law, part of the code of brotherhood within commentators, as it is. And it's going to be interesting to see how he can get on. He's up 6 places already. Clearly getting a bit, in the right place at the right time. You have to make your little own luck from that instant early on. Can he make a move? But it's all happening up front between Dorelli. He's managed to jump Pinero and get up into second. Marnie just seems to be happy to sit behind, but Dorelli doing so. It's another fastest lap of the race so far. But Aeronom, interestingly, he's pulled another couple of attempts on these guys. I do not know where he is finding the pace from right now, as Pinero just swats it up the inside of Dorelli there.
I don't know what Nom's done. I think it's also these guys are just racing so hard. It's allowed him just to kind of go off into the distance and do his own thing. But he's almost pulled a 2.5 second lead, Tim.
It's frightening, isn't it? He's got nobody to slipstream off, and yet somehow is pulling away from the peloton, as you've so rightly renamed it here, that settles from second. Wow, all the way. Look at how close the times are. You can see from the timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen right now just how close it is here. With only tiny gaps. Realistically, it goes all the way down to Murakami in 10th, which then starts off another whole train of cars that ends pretty much with Favini in 19th. Brewster just in a little bit of a battle of his own in 20th. And then Justice starts off another gaggle of cars. A big chunk of the field. You see Justice under pressure there. That's like
Foster. Foster's looking to climb up from his earlier incident.
He is. He's only lost 4 places because of it, and we've seen it's quite easy to pick up places here potentially, as long as you don't get locked in that battle. Justice leading this train right now, and it's probably, I don't know, if I was him, Jonathan, I wouldn't want to be there, because you're just vulnerable to everyone with the slipstream.
Oh, absolutely. You are sitting duck at points across this track, and we know how draft happy these cars are. You are dead meat as we watch Austin going way high. See what run he can pull here.
That is a ridiculously high line. Looking to use some of the banking as momentum. An extra speed.
He's going to try to come down.
Oh, he needs to be careful because up the inside is being Forster, and he gets it through. Austin Knight could well lose a couple of places there. No, just manages to only lose the one to Forster. He gets himself up into 21st.
It's so easy to overcook it there when you get such a great run on the tri-oval, and then you just, you know, cook it into one.
We head to John Payne. He's managed to pick up a couple of places after falling down the order. Qualified well, qualified in 3rd. Currently finds himself in 10th. Still ruining that slowdown that cost him so dearly.
Yeah, Payne has the speed for sure.
He does, but the thing is that if you get cut adrift from the group that you're in, you've got nobody to slipstream, and then you just get enveloped into the group behind you, and that is exactly what's happening to Payne right now. He's got Murakami tucked up right behind him. I mean, the distance between Payne in 10th and Race in 9th is some 4 seconds. So we just head back to this group battle for 2nd. See David coming through there. You've got Marnie, Panero, and Dorelli going to go 3 wide. David maybe going to go for a 4. Oh, wow! Yang Lu just, sorry, Lu, this getting in, somehow slotted it through there with about the precision of a brain surgeon's scalpel. I do not know how the American got away with that one. That was a ballsy move.
That was gutsy, Tim, that's for sure. Wow. Brave move by Lou.
The thing is, there was so much of the race left to go. It's going to be interesting. Now, as our usual barometer for opening of the pit window, as always within this series, Stevie Ray has come into the pits. That was that was a lap ago. So we've also got Andalo in the pits. Antonio Race, he's into the pits. He's come out in 30th. It can be interesting to see how he could climb through the field. He's not losing. He's actually lost a couple of places. I'm wondering what's happened to him. Is he... Oh, see, Payne. That's Lou there.
That's Lou. He's got to get back on. Just...
You look away from the screen for 2 seconds. I think Antonio Reese is... I just look at the time chart, trying to work out what's happened to Antonio Reese. I think he might have retired the car because he's stationary in the pits. So we just see this battle for 2nd. Panero leading it for now. Dorelli 3rd. Marnie, David Baum is up 7 places. Yang Lin is 6th, and Louis is in 7th. It's the American, and just dropping off the tail end. You just have to wonder if that mistake is going to cost him dearly. As we just see Dorelli there taking the high line. Marnie going through the middle. Dorelli having to sweep back down again. Try and get some of that slipstream. He moves out again to go 3 wide. David Baum trying to capitalise and find his way through. Marco Panero on the inside. He's got Yang Lin tucked up right behind him, that blue and white car, trying to follow that inside line, and somehow the 5 of them all together wheezing their way through, and Dorelli looking like he's going to come out victorious. David Baum picking out a couple of places. Marco Panero down 2. Marnie's dropped a place. And Lin stays where he is.
Oh, Panero's looking aggressive there.
Constantly evolving right now between these 5. It's so gutting that Lou has managed to drop off the back of this little group. Right now it's half a second. David Baum looking to mount an attack on Panero. Last thing he wants is Dorelli getting away.
I was looking to see if something happened to Antonio Race in our SDK software, and I just saw he entered the pits twice, so there wasn't an off-track that came up or a crash that came up. So it's interesting to find out what happened post-race.
It's absolutely gutting. Have to qualify on the front row alongside Aeronom and looking for a big haul of points. It's gutting for him. Now, obviously your leader still Aeronom. I don't know where that time's gone, Jonathan, but he is 6.7 seconds nearly clear of this battle for 2nd.
I can't wait to, if he wins, I can't wait for us to talk to him after the race to be like, what did you do? What happened? You know, what?
I think be a good one as well, Jonathan. Can you throw us up a track map
Absolutely.
through our software? Because so we can just see what sort of bubble you can see. So from the top right corner of your screen right now, there's a red number 1. Now just
blue
turned
right
blue,
now.
coming
I
across the
apologize.
start-finish line. That's all right. You can see Evrenom is in an absolute bubble by himself. He has nobody to draft with. He's not coming up on the back markers, so it's not as if he's using them to help get his way through the field. Again, all that time, he's just showing everyone how to drive this car here at Daytona and putting on an absolute masterclass with no assistance whatsoever.
This reminds me of, I believe it was the runoffs last season. Aeronom put on a soul-crushing performance where he had just checked out. I believe he was like 11 seconds ahead, by the end of the race. It was just one of those races everyone was battling, and he was all by himself up front. It's starting to feel that way here.
It is. It is. He's in a league of his own. Is the Estonian. An absolutely spectacular drive from him. Let's just check in this battle for second place. That's starting to Panero just pulling a little bit of time on these guys, but with them also close behind, you know full well that slipstream is going to come into effect. Good to see Lou has managed to close up onto the back of me. He's got the yellow car at the back of this group. So this group, as it stands at the moment, is Panero from Bomb, Marnie, Dorelli, Lin, Lou, and Bertoni. Sorry, not Bertoni. He's in the next group down. What, Bertoni? Wow, where's he come from? He's suddenly 8th. He's made up 32 places. That is crazy from the Uruguayan.
This is Andre Bertoni doing Andres Bertoni things. This is the common Andre Bertoni type thing where he qualifies way in the back and then just climbs his way up through the field. And you wonder what would happen if Andres, actually had a really great qualifying, requalified into the top 10 or something like that.
You do have to wonder, because clearly he's definitely Mr. Sunday rather than Mr. Saturday. He's not so good at the qualifying, but my golly, is he an epic racer here at the Ford Spec Racers. Let's just bring it up to date as everyone's swapping places around a little bit, and see Murakami. He's the leader in Masters right now. He's 9th, and that is Bertoni in front of him, trying to cover off any move from Murakami there. Trying to protect that 32 place gain that he has had. Absolutely amazing. Then leading right now in Spec 2 is Sanchinelli. Just a little bit of pressure from Brewster behind, but that's not in class, so that doesn't matter too much for him. However, we have had Dantas in the pits already, so he is 4th in class right now, 19th on the road. And nearly ran in the back by Favini. Mirashek nearly in the back of Brewster, had to take evasive action, locking up all the brakes. Coming into the international horseshoe there. And then in doing so, Favini, the Swede, nearly ends up in the back of him. And Favini, let's not forget, he's 2nd currently in Spec 2.
Yeah, Mirashek a bit faster than Brewster in front of him, just locking it up right there, trying in an attempt to get by him.
Also, we've got Gradwell into the place, also for Estonian Tani. He is into the pits right now. So the highest running driver that has pitted so far is Evandro Dantas in 19th. So he is the benchmark for everyone of where they're going to come out. So everyone above him has yet to pit. As back up front, they're swapping places again. It's just becoming normal between Bomb, Marnie, Panero, Dorelli, Lin, Lou. All over one another, and we're going to have, you've guessed it, another 3 wide into turn 1. Maybe not just backing out, going for 3 sets of 2. Bomb on the outside.
Look at Lin on the outside. Look at this.
Can Lin keep the momentum going and run it right round? It's looking like they're all going to stay pretty much as they are somehow. I don't know how didn't have anyone swap places at all.
There are some really safe pairs of hands in that group. Guys like David Baum, and Yang Shilin, some really safe, capable hands. So kudos to them for driving so well in such tight packs right here.
And it's this battle. It's going to be interesting to see after everyone's pitted within this group. where they'll come out and how many of them we're going to have left in a fight to the finish line, because I know that's what's going to come if they can all remain together and nobody pulls away as they battle between these 6 cars for the last 2 places on the podium. Aeronom, well, he's cleared off. He's extending the gap even further now, 8.8 seconds clear of these guys. He's checked out. He's on, put his cruise control on, and no need to worry from him. Just see these guys. This is where it all starts now. It's like a game of chess where they're maneuvering themselves around, trying to get their opponent into the position they want so that they can capitalise. Except this is a 6-player game of chess right here, Jonathan.
Yeah, 6-player game of chess for sure. As we look at the back of Jorg Mandy's car, Yang Shilin giving him a little bit of a bump.
They've both
David Baum's
cleared.
gonna join the fun.
Yeah, they've just cleared David Baum, who's dropped 2 places to these guys. And Panera, you can see the power of the draft of these two just blast their way past them. And now Marnie takes control of the battle for 2nd place.
Great drive.
Panero 3rd. Great run from him. Linton unable to capitalise. Baum is 4th. Linton's 5th. Luis 6th. And Dorelli 7th now after holding 2nd for so long. That's John Payne into the pits.
Murakami's in, Payne's in, so we're starting to see the pit stops happen.
We are. Bradshaw's in, Mirashek, Yuri Cox, the Dutchman, he's in as well. Now, where is Dantas? Because he is the benchmark for all these guys. So he's got past Bradshaw and Mirashek and Murakami. They're all still, well, they're just heading out of the pits now. So Dantas is still the leader of everyone that's pitted. He is 14th. Now, looking at the times, you're going to lose about 44 seconds-ish in the pit stops if you take average times. Just looking at what's ahead of him. Based on that, that could see him climb massive. Oh, we've got contact! That's Simon Mayer. What has happened to him? Because he is rolling backwards across the track. And that's into the International Horseshoes. He arrived, locked the brakes up and arrived backwards. Or has he had contact with someone? There's Murakami coming out of the pits. No, he's lost it by himself, and there's Murakami just manages. Well, someone get a cigarette paper out and see if you can slot it in between those two, because that was ridiculously close there, Jonathan.
Great job. And while we were looking at that replay, Aeronam has entered the pits.
Yes, he's got that. He had a 9-second cushion to 2nd place. Panero's in. Bertoni is in as well. So Yorgamani now takes the lead. Dorelli 2nd. Louis 3rd. Lynn is 4th.
Sancinelli's in, our Spec 2 leader.
Yes, I think we're going to see the rest of the field probably got to come in with 13 minutes here remaining at Daytona.
Brewster, who was our Masters class leader for a moment, he's in as well, so the pit stops are happening fast and furious here.
Now, keep one eye on Dantas. He's in 13th at the moment. He was the top guy of everyone to pit. Look, he's going to pick up a whole new bunch of places. He's got Jackson right behind him, looking to make a move into turn 1 there. Now, where is Dantas going to come out in amongst these? Well, looks like
Dantas right here.
He's going to, well, looking like it. Bertoni is still ahead of him. Makes his driving more spectacular. He's ahead on the field. He's 2.5 seconds up the road. So Dantas managed to pick up a few places, but not managing to get past. Well, Favini's in the lead of Spec 2, but he is yet to stop. So that is why. So Dantas is going to take that. Jackson is 3rd in Spec 2. He is yet to stop as well. So that surely means Sancinelli will take into that 3rd place.
Yeah, this has really allowed all those guys to kind of break up, especially that group that was battling for 2nd. As we're jumping up to a front, Manny's still in the lead. Dorelli's in 2nd, Lou in 3rd, and Yang Shilin in 4th. So it's allowed kind of that group of Panero. I'm trying to go in that group, David Baum, to kind of break up a little bit. Actually, David Baum hasn't pitted yet, so correct me.
No, he hasn't, but here 2 more of that group to pit. It's Marnie, Lynn, and Baum. They are
on
all
cue, David
into
Baum
the
pits.
pits. There you go. There you go. Dorelli and Lou carry on again for another rotation of the circuit here in Daytona. Just coming up on a bit of lap tracker. We've got Favini in from the lead in Spec 2, which is going to elevate Dantas up to being the leader there. You would inspect. Aeronom is up into third. Wouldn't expect anything less so with a 9-second gap that he had when he came into the pits over that block of cars that are battling for second. Now, Bomb losing out big time there. Panero's got about 3.5 seconds over him. Likewise, Lynn as well, another driver picking up a fair bit of time there. David Bomb, I'm not too sure. It wasn't a massively slow stop from him, maybe lost about half a second, but even so, he's lost a big chunk of time there.
Yeah, just looking at the pit times, that's
a strange one, because he came in with this group pretty much, but he's lost tons of time. Maybe he overshot his pit box a little bit, and that's what caused it.
Oh yeah, guys, exiting pits too here in this battle.
This is where it gets really tricky, as you see.
Oh, get fast!
That is, wow, Brewster running ridiculously wide, now caught on the outside of a 3-wide between himself, Mirashek and Forster. And somehow, I don't know how, Bradshaw managed to slide his way through in there and managed to avoid everyone as they were all over the track trying to take evasive action to avoid one another. Yeah. This is the dangers with these large car grids, evenly matched pace cars.
Yeah, that was interesting. Favini was exiting pit lane right as this group was coming by, so created some interesting maneuvers right there as Lou comes in and Dorelli is now into pit road. So,
talking of interesting, Jonathan, it's going to be interesting where these guys come out. So the benchmark for them, there goes Aeronaut, but that's no surprise whatsoever. The next interesting driver is Jorgmani, who's actually pulled out about 2 seconds over Marco Panero during the pit stops.
But look who he has.
Wow. You'll see Panero and Lynn stuck together like somebody has attached super glue to the rear end of Panero and the front end of Lynn. Inseparable, those two.
You know, in NASCAR, sometimes they talk about pushers and pullers, and Yang Shilin looks like he appears to be a really good pusher.
He does. Lou is just looking at it. He's still in second place. He's got Jorgmani a lot just behind him. So this group has really broken up. It was only about some 3 or 4 laps ago now that they were all together, all over each other. And we head into the last 8 minutes in a few seconds' time with them all spaced, all dispersed a bit. Gaps between them. However, surely Panero and Lynn are going to work together to close up onto the back of Lou and Marnie.
Oh, they have to. Absolutely.
It's the only chance I think they've got of getting onto the podium now, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's the only way that they can do it. Oh,
just clearing. That's 838 there. That is, I'm just trying to think who that is. I'm trying to see from our software. Bit of a strange one. That's disappeared to that car number there, but you see Panero locked in. That inside, well, he was locked into that inside line. Lets it to go high. Let Lynn through so they can tuck back in again. Pick up that slipstream where these two, you can see they are working together now to close up to Marnie and Lou ahead of them. They're now swapping places constantly, rotating around to get that maximum top speed out of the car.
But Manny and Lou are working really well together too, so it's going to take some work for them to catch up.
And interestingly, they've managed to take 4 seconds out of Aeronaut by doing so. Finally, someone able to try and match the Estonian on pace as we see Payne there in the yellow car, just trying to get through with Julio Castro. So Mayer losing out there, him dropping a few places after that spin. He's currently down in 14th as Mayer. This is a battle for 12th between these 3 guys. just looking at it as well. Fastest lap of the race so far is Jorg Marni with a 53.3. Oh, it's a big contact there. And somehow Brewster just manages to get away with that one. This is an incredibly tight battle between himself. Mirashek's in there, Bradshaw's in there.
These
and
four
also,
are fit to be tied. And
you get a feeling, wow, as you see Bradshaw just somehow managing to not have contact with Brewster there again. And he's now on the outside of Mirashek.
Yeah, it's going to allow Favini, it's going to allow Tenga, whoever else to kind of catch up to this group. These guys have been maybe 2 car lengths from each other. Oh, Brewster's in trouble!
Oh! He spun. So this group of 6 now becomes 5. Brewster loses a whole heap of places. And that is Batenga, the Dutchman, just coming through there. Let's take a look at how it happened. Did he get onto the grass, or just too much momentum here, Jonathan?
Yeah, too much momentum.
He did well to hold the brakes and avoid everyone coming flying through. So heading out onto the oval. Batenga just getting past Brewster there. A surprise, really, when right behind him.
Looks like we're going to be having a 4-car battle very shortly for the 2nd spot.
They've closed right up, haven't they? And in doing so as well, Yangji Lin has set the new fastest lap of the race of 52.67. So we were saying about these guys possibly working together and coming along, Panera and Lin, and they've pretty much managed to do so. Mr. Elliott was a member of that top group. Oh, I think that might have been Dantas in the background just spinning. No, it wasn't. It was. I think it might have been the Canadian Bartman.
Very similar paint schemes.
Yeah, just it's where you see it out of the corner of your eye. A slight bit of a whiff of.
Actually, I think that was Dudu Castro.
Yeah, he's lost a few places, hasn't he?
He was in the group with Payne.
Let's take a look. Oh, he's onto the grass there. It seems like a likely suspect.
Maybe not.
No, not sure. But let's head back to what's happening on track, and Marnie still leading this group of 4 in the battle for 2nd place right now. And I think it's time, with just coming up to 3.5 minutes left here. Well, we'll come back to it in a second as Bertoni versus Bomb versus Torelli. They're going to go 3 wide across the start-finish line on the run down to turn 1. And this could go any way whatsoever between a Bomb on the outside. They're going to look to sweep down and shut the door on all of them. And it looks like he's going to get that move done. Bertoni got to have the drive of the day up to some 33 places. And nobody is close to him. The closest person to him in terms of gains, Jonathan, is Yuri Cox. He's in 21st, and he's only gained a mere 10 places. Amateur numbers compared to what Bertoni has achieved today.
Yeah, amateur numbers for sure. Unbelievable drive. Unbelievable drive.
Let's just see Austin Knight getting past Cox there. There's Batenga. He's into the pits again. Likewise, Joshua just Justice might have just triggered it by accident there, but Mirashek leading this group right now.
Yeah, depending on the line guys take, you will occasionally someone will get that flashing pit in the SDK timing software. Yeah,
it's similar to a few tracks where if iRacing thinks you're coming in and you sort of take that, Interlagos, prime example.
Yep.
Spa, another one of the circuits where you've got similar sort of lines on the pit exit. You run across it just pit entrance, it just confuses it a little. I think, right, we've got just under 2 minutes here left to go, Jonathan. I would imagine it's going to be close. I think they're going to have, I don't think this is going to be the white flag this time. I think they're going to have to go again. I'm just keeping one eye on the clock and where Aero Nom is. These old guys will scatter across the track. Oh no! There's contact! There's contact and Marnie is out! Lou hit the back end of him, and Jorg Marni is sent spinning into the pit lane.
Tim, did it look like Marni was going into the pit lane?
Like, I was thinking that, and I was questioning that. Lou just following right behind him, trying to get that last bit of slipstream out of him.
I want to take a... see if we can get back.
I mean, Jorg Marni was stopped
like
for an incredibly short time. He was only stationary for 11 seconds, but it looked like, you say, he was actually heading in there. I think he was heading in.
Yeah.
And I think Lou was just so far close behind him, trying to follow that slipstream, didn't realise where he was on track. And ended up losing out. Now, while that has happened, that means that Panero is cleared. It's got 7 attempts over them. Yang Lin has taken 2nd place. And I think place your bets now as to who's going to come out on top here. I'm not generally. I don't think we're going to know until they cross the finish line.
Yeah, I think Manny maybe didn't have enough fuel and went in, and the message...
Marni he was stopped for a mere 11 seconds, which was one of the shortest pit stops of anyone in the field. And I think that could be why, as we see, Simon Mayer has a gaggle of Americans behind him, Mercado Payne and Castro. They're still leading the way here with 10 seconds in the bank. It's Aero Nom. I think this is going to be, this is going to be the final lap. Here we go. And he's going to come across the line. And that is the victory here in week 11 for Aero Nom to make it 3 wins in the last 3 rounds. But Panero's leading the way. What can Yang Lin do? It's, oh, how close was that across the line? The answer to that is 1,000th of a second, a blink, not even a blink of the eye, as they're all coming across the line now, incredibly close. But Tony up to 6th, great drive from him. But this is where it's all at. Payne, Murakami, it's those 2 across the line. It looks like Payne's just going to get the advantage, but don't discredit Dudu Castro. Where did he come? He just got it past Simon Mayer at the line. Just. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievably close finishes. I'm just trying to have a little look down the field of see where we're going to get any others. Maybe Austin Knight, he might have a bit of a close one to himself, Brewster, and I think it's Yuri Cox. It is. Here comes Knight across the line. He's going to have the outside line. Can he get that moved on? Can he sneak it past Cox? And he does at the line. 2,000ths of a second, 200th of a second, sorry. The difference between himself and Cox. As you see now, who's going to win this one? Gibson. They haven't come past the pit lane yet. No, they haven't. And I've got these 2 are literally neck and neck. You could not tell who is in front, but I think it's the 893 that's going to get it. Gibson just gets it over Gradwell. Another incredibly close finish. As the Demolition Derby starting early there. This is always tradition in this championship.
I think we should have
wow,
some results.
Wow, what ridiculously close finishes here once again. And let's run you through your race results. Aeronom taking the victory by 10 seconds, a flawless victory. Had a lead from the start to the finish. Never looked ever in doubt to Stoney to make it 3 wins on the bounce for him. Surely pretty much securing the championship for the Estonian to make it his 4th championship victory, which only leaves him 1 behind, being joint first with Gaspers on 5. Marco Panero came home 2nd with literally hundredths of a second separating himself and Yang Lin. Dorelli and Bertoni came incredibly close across the line, likewise with David Bond. Now Bertoni, he finished up 34 places. An amazing drive from him. Absolutely astounding. Then we've got Dantas in 7th place and taking the victory in Spec 2. Bartman was 8th. John Payne 9th. And you do have to wonder if he hadn't had that slowdown, just where John Payne would have come. Murakami rounding out your top 10 and taking the victory in Masters. And we've got Dudu Castro with Simon Mayer just behind him. Another incredibly close finish Only 6 thousandths of a second separating those two. Sancinelli comes home 3rd place in Spec 2 and 13th overall. Yogmani is 14th after that incident between himself and Lou, which cost them both dearly. And Yogmani possibly under-fueling the car. Ben Foster was 3rd in Spec 2 and 15th overall. Nirishek 16th. Lou 17th. Bradshaw was 18th. And a close finish between those two. With Favini in 19th and Austin Knight, our fellow commentator, rounding out your top 20. Then it was Yuri Cox and Jim Brewster, Justice Jackson, Jim Cantor, Ray Gibson. Move it down a bit more. I'm just trying to have a little look. I think.
Yep, just trying to.
Here we go. There we go. Gradwell 29th and Burkitt rounding out your top 30. Then in 31st it was McCain with Batinga and Darlow. Wallbolt, Brain. Disappointing race from him. Himself and Wallbolt, the first of the drivers to be lapped. Davison finished lap down. Likewise with Towney in 37th. It's on to retirees. We lost Todd Hansen 8 laps ago. That was on lap 13. We lost Antonio Race. On lap 8, Santiago we lost on lap 7. And unfortunately, Dick Batley and Calari didn't make it past the first lap. Wow. Let's have a little chat, Jonathan. We said we want to speak to him. Let's have a chat with our victor here tonight. He's made 3 wins in a row. It's Aeronom. Congratulations on another win, and you looked completely and utterly untouchable out there in front.
Yeah, thanks. It was, I don't know what the guys behind were doing. Once I got to second cap, I made some mistakes and the gap went down to 1.8. I was sure they will catch me, but I think they were just racing too hard.
They were. Unfortunately, John Payne had a slowdown, which that then created the gap that you needed, where you were out of slipstream range. And we said the guys behind were battling, but even so, you had nobody to really slipstream from all race. Yet you were setting incredibly strong lap times and getting away by half a second at a time sometimes per lap.
Yeah, I think they gained maybe half a second to the start line, but then I think they went too wide to turn 1, and I gained all the back. I can take my line and no pressure.
So next week we head to Donington, an incredibly different circuit. How do you feel about Donington? It's the National, which has got that tight chicane at the end of the lap. The shorter version of the 2 circuits there. Is it one that you favour, or do you feel a bit like you're gonna need some practice in for that one?
Yeah, still I will do some practice with Edgar. Actually, he finished second in class today, so finally the work we are doing paid off. So yeah, I will see. It's a short track, so maybe a lot of traffic, but yeah.
Definitely, and congratulations. And anyone you want to say thanks to, give a shout out to at all, Aero.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the sponsors and the league admins, drivers, and you there in the booth.
No problem at all. That's Aeronom, your victor here today at Daytona in round 11. Now, let's have a little chat to... We've spoken to him, I think, so many times. Jonathan, he's just put on flawless performances as the season has gone on, and it's another victor in class today. It's Chris Murakami, a victory in Masters. Once again, it's getting a bit of a common theme, this one, Chris. Introducing you as the winner in Masters again.
Well, yeah, fortunately, I had a terrible quali, and Antonio, his quali was way up there, and I'm not sure exactly what happened. I saw him disconnect. Unfortunate.
Yes, he did. So he came into the pits and then came into the pits again, and did Antonio Race. And after strong qualifying, it was disappointing. Well, for us just not see how he could get on, but also I'm sure for yourself as well, and have someone take the fight to you. But I mean, in those early laps, it seemed like it was chaos in the midfield. just put us inside the cockpit. What was it like during those opening laps?
Well, you know, I knew there was going to be a little trouble in the first corner, and I just told myself I was going to keep the inside lane and everything will wash out, and I kept that kind of concept throughout the first few laps because, yeah, people were spinning right in front of me, and so I managed all through that. Yeah, luckily, it's probably the main reason why I moved forward.
Yeah, it was absolutely a crazy race today here at Daytona. Obviously, we think to Aaron on it's Donington next time out. Incredibly different track that will bring different skills. How are you feeling about that one? It's a tight, twisty track compared to the wide open, fast-flowing nature that is Daytona.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. You know, it's they're all good. I enjoy all of them. Yeah, so it'll be good.
No problem. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to at all?
Oh, well, last time I didn't thank Antonio. He's the my computer guy, and so me and him are known each other for a long time, and so I'll give thanks to him, and yeah, you guys every week for doing this, and so I get a chance to have you guys talk about me a little bit, but yeah, and the sponsor and all the guys.
No problem at all. That's Chris Murakami, yet again, the winner in Masters, this time here at round 11 in Daytona.
Thanks, guys.
Let's have a bit of a chat to, I think, probably our second place overall, because it was a great performance from him, and he didn't qualify near the top today, where we normally expect him. Down in 9th on the 5th row of the grid, but Yang Jilin managed to squeeze onto the podium in the end. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Obviously coming, it was incredibly competitive in that group of, I think it was about 7 of you, wasn't it, at one stage in that battle for second place, and you were constantly trading places.
Yeah, indeed. That was pretty spicy.
It was indeed. It was indeed, and I mean, what was it just purely about? We saw quite often you were happy to sit at the back of the group. Was that mainly your tactic of just trying to keep out of any incidents that might happen between the battling cars in front of you?
Actually not. It was because at the start of race in the formation lap, I for some reason my keyboard didn't respond. I didn't fire up my car, and the car behind me just ran into it. I had a little bit rear end damage. I was a little bit down on the straight line speed, so I had to conserve and stay behind.
So obviously, when we had the round of pit stops, it all sort of spread that group out a bit. Yourself and Marco Pinero were, 4th and 5th at that stage, and you got a bit of a time difference between, yourself and the cars ahead of Lou and Girelli, wasn't it? I think, and it wasn't. Apologies, it was Marnie and. I think who the one was right now. It's just John. No, but anyway, obviously, we saw. It felt like from within the commentary booth that yourself and Pinero were working together to close up that gap. We saw you constantly trading places around the oval.
Yes, that is indeed a strategy. I actually had a pretty good pit stop. I calculated fuel pretty precisely, but I overshot my pit box because this track has a slightly higher pit lane speed limit. It looks like Marnie short field, and yeah, I mean, at that stage we were 2 seconds behind my friend Liu and Marnie, so I had to push Marco. Otherwise, we don't have a chance at podium.
Yeah, and then obviously, it came ultimately to a straight dogfight between yourself and Pinero in that race to the line. In the end, it was only, I think, 900ths of a second separating you two. An incredibly close finish. I mean, at that stage, was it just purely just keep your foot to the floor and just pray that you had that some sort of momentum to get yourself in front of Pinero?
Not really. Interestingly, we had another official race before the league race. It was also me and Pinero. It is exactly the same situation where in the old car, in the Generation 2 car, so if you lift a little bit on the banking section and let the car by, let the car behind you by, and then you get back on gas, you can overtake him at the line. But in the newer car, I think this time I timed it pretty right, but I maybe lifted too much, and I didn't quite get it. And the official race ended the same way, with Panero beating me by 56 thousandths. Yeah, I mean, at Daytona, the finish is always like this. It's you have to play smart, it's not just get get like throttle 100% down on a straight line. So it's a game of chess.
Yeah, he was saying that in commentary. It was at times it was a 6 or a 7-way game of high-speed chess with high stakes involved. But it was absolutely fascinating to see and watch you guys. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to at all, Lin?
I want to thank my friend Zihao Liu. I mean, I have tried to convince him to join us for a long time, and he finally joined today. We did a lot of teamwork together. Although this is not a team series, but I do enjoy that I finally have someone to play some strategy with. And also, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting, and thank the team and the sponsors.
Brilliant. That was Yangji Lin, who came home third today, but so close to second. Let's what we'll do now is we'll just, well, John, try and take some sort of a breather. I've lost for words on how to describe that one. An amazing race that was incredibly close, with incredibly fine margins separating everything at the line right to the finish.
I think one of the comments in the YouTube chat said best, great cast, now catch a breath and take a shower. Which I think is the best way to describe it, is, what a great, we saw a bit of a soul-crushing run from Aeronam, but after that, unbelievable. Great battles from, second on, in some great driving we saw.
It was absolutely spectacular, and I mean, if that hasn't been enough for you, and you're all fired up now for some more action, coming up in about 20 minutes time on the channel, we've got IGP Fun F3. It's round 11 for them as well, but they are at the Red Bull Ring, so that's going to be a really interesting one. It's always close for F3 around Red Bull Ring. Then on Monday night, apologies, at 2 AM GMT, we've got the iRacing Winter Series, the CKT Series. They're at Road Atlanta. It's going to be one to watch out for. Tomorrow night, we've got the Mazda Cup. It's round 9 from Laguna Seca. Not so myself and Jonathan will be back in the commentary. We'll be joined by Sam Fitzpatrick, as we've got the one-off special. It's the Custom Cockpits Cyber Monday Challenge from Silverstone. And then on Tuesday, technically Tuesday, at midnight GMT, it's the IndyCar Open Series. It's week 12, and they are from Texas. Now, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And thank you to series sponsors FRF. And from myself and Jonathan, we'll see you in a week's time as the series heads to Donington.